I'd like to call to order to the February 3rd board meeting. Hello, Mr. Porter.
Nice to meet you.
Roll call, everybody is here. Any public comment on closed session items? Let's adjourn. tonight's board meeting at 7:08. I apologize for the delay. Roll call. All board members are here and present. Our student representatives, Samantha Lamanero from McNair and Lucas Crowder from Lodi. Welcome. Samantha, could you lead us in the flag salute, please?
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to report on actions from closed session. The conference with legal counsel, case OAH 2025090-636. A motion was made by Mr. Nava, seconded by Mrs. McFarland, and approved. 6 in favor, 1, Mr. Stroh abstained. Personnel matters, a motion made by Mr. Nava, seconded by Mrs. McFarland. The board approved the placement of Sean Campbell as elementary vice principal, location to be determined by the following vote, 7-0. If we could have comments from our student representatives. Samantha, you want to start us off?
Thank you, President Alexander, members of the board, and Superintendent Young. Since the last board meeting, McNair has begun collecting donations for our very first Eagle Eye Vintage Thrift Store event, which is an exciting initiative encouraging students to donate gently used clothing. Donation collection began on January 14th and will continue through February 5th. So far, over 250 pieces of clothing have been collected. As a token of appreciation, students who donate will receive Mingo points, which can be redeemed for McNair merchandise at the student store. The grand opening of Eagle Eye Vintage is February 9th, where students will have the opportunity to shop for clothing using either their Mingo points or real money. This event not only promotes sustainability and community engagement, but also supports school spirit by connecting donations directly to rewards for students. This month, we also hosted McNair's Got Talent on January 30th, which was a lively school-wide talent show celebrating the diverse skills of our students. The winner received a $100 gift card bundle, while the runner-up received a $25 gift card. And to keep the audience engaged between performances, we hosted McNair Trivia, with correct answers earning gift bundles filled with McNair merchandise. Additionally, a raffle for gift cards added extra excitement for attendees. The event highlighted student creativity, fostered school spirit, and provided fun opportunities for the entire McNair community to participate and celebrate talent. I'd like to give a huge shout out to our McNair staff, teachers, admin, and counselors for their continued dedication to helping our students. And I want to thank our student government, Link Crew, and our clubs for their hard work and dedication organizing our amazing events and helping to start the semester on a good note. The winter sports season is coming to an end, and our McNair Eagles are still working hard. Teams are practicing and competing with energy and school spirit, showing dedication and teamwork across all sports. We're excited to see our athletes continue to represent McNair and finish strong. We also have our spring sports season that is just starting, with strong student participation and teams actively preparing for upcoming matches and games. We wish them luck on their upcoming season. And for our upcoming events, next week on February 9th, we will have our grand opening of our Eagle Eye Vintage Thrift Store, where students can come in and browse and potentially find something they like. Also, student government has already started preparing for our Unity Assembly, which will take place on February 27th. The Unity Assembly is a celebration of what brings the McNair community together. When we say unity, we mean more than just individual cultures. We are also recognizing our shared school culture, including our academic clubs, athletic teams, cultural organizations, and other student groups that shape life at McNair. This assembly is an opportunity to highlight the diversity of talents, passions, and voices across all McNair clubs, not just cultural clubs. The program will feature skits and cultural dances that reflect both our differences and the common spirit that unites us as Eagles. And for the first time, the Unity Assembly will also include a night performance for parents and anyone who would like to go. The evening show will begin at 6:30 p.m. on February 27th in our big gym. Admission is free and all are welcome to attend and celebrate Unity at McNair. And that is all I have to report from McNair. Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha. Lucas.
Good evening, President Alexander, members of the board, and Superintendent Young. On Thursday, January 29th, we hosted our Advanced Placement Preview Night. Our goal was to share AP pathways and provide parents and their students an opportunity to meet our honors and AP teachers. Many families were in attendance, and we hope that the event was valuable to our current and future flames. Lodi High is gearing up for LPAC testing in February. The Apple Academy is preparing to go on their annual Museum of Tolerance field trip, where they are immersed in learning about the Holocaust, its effects, and human rights. They are also in the process of recruiting students for next year. Our counselors have been busy presenting scheduling information for our current freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Course selections are underway, and Lodi High is excited to offer additional opportunities for the students. We celebrated our Winterfest rally and game on January 14th, where Zachary Schlipp and Elle Sutterth were crowned Winterfest King and Queen. Students on their Winterfest court are all nominated, selected, and chosen by our Lodi High teachers and staff. Congratulations to all of the students who were recognized for their contributions to Lodi High and our community. Our AP Spanish Language and Culture students recently participated in a friendly competition with Bear Creek High School, showcasing cultural dresses created from recycled material. This project allowed students to explore themes of cultural identity, global challenges, and sustainability while applying their learning in a creative and meaningful way. Both schools produced impressive work, and the competition was very close. Bear Creek's dress won by a margin of just 4 points. Although our students did not take first place this year, we are proud of their effort, creativity, and commitment to cultural learning and environmental awareness. We look forward to continuing this tradition and strengthening collaboration between our schools and future projects. The PBIS committee has introduced a teacher and staff award called the Torch of Excellence. Teachers and staff recognize one another for their passion, inspiration, and dedication to teaching, passing on the torch monthly. Our most recent recipients were Mrs. Jennifer Taylor, Link Crew and Health Teacher, who was awarded the Torch of Excellence by Miss Katie Sloan, and Mr. Darren Fink, Para-Educator on campus, who received the award from Mr. Wayne Hoover. We appreciate the efforts of the Lodi High staff and would like to thank them for their dedication to making our school a better place. The VAPA department has hung up 3 new display cases to showcase student artwork around campus. We have also been planning Art-A-Palooza, which will take place the week of April 6th on campus, which will be a week to appreciate the arts. We will have art activities for all students to participate in at lunch and an art show showcasing all levels of student artwork in all our currently offered art classes. Students and families from Lodi High will host 10 students and their 2 teachers from the Feldberg School in Germany for 2 weeks in mid-April. Our Lodi students will visit their partners in June of 2026. Speech and Debate will be competing in its 6th league tournament of the year next Saturday, February 7th at UOP. We're around out of the season, we will be competing in the local Rotary and Lions Club speaking competitions and our state qualifier with the goal of sending students to the California High School Speech Association State Championship in April. Lodi Drill and Cheer teams will be presenting the 3rd annual Winter Showcase on February 27th. All are welcome to attend. The event will include performances by cheer, drill, band, the Multicultural Club, orchestra, Lodi High singers, stunt, speech and debate, and more. The Flamettes will also be performing, which are Lodi Unified students between TK and 6th grade. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Next, we have our superintendent's report.
Yes, President Alexander, members of the board, we have a great program in our district called Family Leadership Institute, and we have some parents who participated who would like to come up and speak to you as a board, but I'd like to invite Ms. Eva Martinez and Dr. Aisha Bryce to come up, who are co-leading this and working with our community liaisons and our families. So I'll hand over the mic.
Thank you. Good evening, President Alexander, members of the board, and Superintendent Young. I'm the program coordinator for English learners, Eva Martinez.
And I'm Dr. Aisha Bryce, coordinator for Positive School Climate.
And we've had the opportunity last week to spend 3 days with our community liaisons, along with some parents and some administrators in what's called a Family Leadership Institute. And it was a very positive experience for our parents, so much that they asked who funds this? Where does this come from? And so I explained to them that we go through a process where we go and we submit proposals to the board, and they will then go through and approve or not approve. And so that's where we got the funding to do this. And they wanted to show their gratitude, so they asked to come and speak on behalf of their gratitude. So I'd like to let Aisha, Dr. Bryce, talk about a parent, unfortunately was unable to come because of family commitments, but she's gonna speak on behalf of this parent.
Yes, so we had a multitude of our community liaison assistants, some that are language specific and non-language specific. And so my group, they had an amazing time. And we had a parent that was very moved by her experience, but she was unable to make it tonight, as well as our the staff. They are in school, coaching, doing other things, but they would like to express their gratitude for the opportunity to participate in the Family Leadership Institute. It's an amazing opportunity. I met Consuelo, the founder of the Family Leadership Institute, when she gave a convocation several years ago, and we've just been fascinated and so thankful for the opportunity to bring her work directly to Lodi. And so now we would like for you to hear directly from our constituents who had that amazing opportunity just to be in this space and strengthen community here in Lodi.
So I'd like to introduce, we have two parents that are representing Lodi High. We have Maria and Margarita, and then I'm gonna have our district community liaison translate for you.
Buenas noches a todos ustedes que están aquí este día.
Good evening to all of you that are present here today.
Mi nombre es Margarita López
My name is Margarita Lopez.
y para mí este programa de FLI ha sido una buena actividad
For me, this program, FLI, has been a great activity
y grande motivación
and a great motivation
que me ayuda a reflexionar y aprender
that helps me motivate and learn
acerca de cómo podemos contribuir en la vida y en la educación día a día de nuestros hijos.
to help me motivate and learn more on how to guide my students into learning.
Ya que la casa es el primer lugar donde los hijos reciben su primera enseñanza.
Since at home is where my kids have their first learning
Y como bases fundamentales, principios y valores.
as their fundamental and education, knowledge, and
Y es aquí donde los padres debemos de tomar la responsabilidad y la acción
it's here where parents have to take the courage to lead on to the students.
y debemos de tomar la responsabilidad y la acción de un buen líder y dar el mejor ejemplo de amor y respeto como padres.
Be a leader to our kids and show them how to help them out and learn more.
Pero además de esto, nuestros hijos necesitan ser escuchados
But more than this, our students and our kids needs to be heard
con paciencia,
with patience,
comprenderlos y analizar cuál es la mejor forma de ayudarlos.
understand them, and what is the best way to teach them.
Porque cuando nos esforzamos para hacer algún buen trabajo,
Because when we give our effort to do our very best forward,
siempre habrá un buen resultado.
there will always be a best outcome.
Para mí, construir las mejores familias depende de nosotros.
For me to get a good, well-established home is based at home.
Empecemos hoy, no mañana.
It's to start today, not tomorrow.
Nuestros hijos nos necesitan ya.
Our students need us now.
Buenas noches.
Good evening.
Buenas tardes.
Good evening.
Mi nombre es María
My name is Maria,
y soy una mamá que asistió al taller de liderazgo.
and I was one of the parents who attended the leadership program.
Y yo vengo a platicarles mi experiencia,
I come to share my experience.
por qué me beneficia aprender todos los días
Why is it beneficial for me to learn every day
como mamá,
as a mother,
como líder de una casa,
as a leader of my home,
madre de adolescentes,
mother of teenagers?
porque fui criada en los tiempos de antes donde pues también había mucha ignorancia y falta de estos talleres.
Because I was raised in a background where we needed all of this, and now being able to share all of this experience with all of these programs.
Y nos criaron arrastrando traumas de generación en generación,
And they raised us by having chains of bad generations after generations,
educando a los hijos como en los tiempos de antes,
raising our kids with the knowledge of the back of the past,
a veces con mano dura,
sometimes with hard hand,
nada más porque somos la mamá.
just because we're the parents.
Y no sabemos cómo van a reaccionar ellos en la escuela,
And we don't know how
en
they're
sus
going to
familias
react
más adelante.
later on in school or in their families.
Entonces, tener conocimiento de cómo cambia el tiempo y cómo la familia tiene que modificarse todos los días,
And not having the knowledge of how to modify the schools and our homes for later on in the future.
es muy beneficioso en un futuro
This is very beneficial in the future
para madres nuevas, para madres que tienen bebés más pequeños,
for mothers who have newborns or baby kids,
que empiezan sembrando una semilla mejor todos los días
that they start now to plant in the new seed
y cortar la cadena esa de antes que pues eran otros tiempos y también por ignorancia
break
nos
the chains
enseñaron
of
igual.
ignorance from the past that we were raised in.
Y como el bullying y los problemas empiezan en la casa,
Since bullying starts sometimes at home,
entonces como mamás tenemos la responsabilidad de ir creando diferente a los hijos que mañana van a ser otra familia
as parents, we have the responsibility to make sure that our kids are being raised right for their futures and for their future families.
y van a tener mejor conocimiento para crear mejores personas en adelante.
And now I know that they're going to have a better future and what there comes in the future for them and their families.
Y pues aprendí mucho y me gustaría que todo ese conocimiento llegara más y más adelante porque todos los días tenemos un nuevo comienzo desde la casa y desde que podamos empezar de nuevo.
I had a great learning. I would like for everyone and more people to know, to have that experience like I did.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Neither one of them have ever spoken in public, so I think they deserve another hand.
I have nothing further.
Okay. Students? Okay. Three of them. Okay, comments from the public. A 20-minute period is allocated for the public to address the board on matters not listed on the agenda. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. If there are numerous speakers, speaker time limits may be adjusted. To share materials with the board, please provide them to the staff for distribution. Due to restrictions under the California Brown Act, the board cannot engage in discussion regarding public comments. Please state your first name and last name. We have, with 7 public comments, 21 minutes, and that we have students. We have several students, and so if we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11. 2 minutes. If we can, or is everybody okay with 2 minutes?
Sure.
So that I feel it's important that everybody gets a chance to speak. We're going to start with the students first. And I apologize ahead of time if I mispronounce your name. Andrew Avina?
Yes.
Good evening, members of the Lodi Unified Board of Education. I must admit I feel a bit small standing in front of you all today, so it is with gratitude that I thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Andrew Avina, and I represent the Northern California Science and Technology Planning Committee. It is one of my highest honors to speak on behalf of our team tonight with young leaders who are shaping the future of innovation and science right here in the heart of the Central Valley. I'm here today to extend a very special invitation to you all, one that comes as a result of months and months of hard work and planning. The Northern California Science Festival is a celebration of curiosity, learning, and planning, and is accessible to all ages. We have brought together a group of scientists, engineers, and educators to explore how science impacts our everyday lives. And we would be honored if you could find time in your busy schedules to attend Saturday, February 21st, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Lodi High School. I'm also pleased to showcase our new poster, which highlights the fact that this is our 10th festival, a milestone in our community. It reflects not only the growth of what began as a small hometown event, but also the countless hours of planning and teamwork it took to bring this very special day to life. We hope it inspires everyone who sees it to explore their own curiosity in science and learning. Additionally, we are also hosting our second annual Junkyard Masterpiece Art Show, where we invite students to submit art projects created completely out of repurposed trash. None of this, of course, would be possible without the generous support of our presenters. I would also like to extend a very heartfelt thank you to Lodi USD and all of our sponsors, without whom this event would not be possible. Oh, there's the mic. I was like, I feel like I'm talking quiet. Oh, you can adjust it too? This is crazy. I would also like to recognize a few of my fellow committee members, Peyton Piper, Isabella Oseguera, Rebecca Starr, Tessa Fox, Finn Tomek, Roz Lahan, Lucas Nigley. Working alongside them has been an honor, and they serve as a reminder that investing in our students is an investment in the future of our community. Tonight, I warmly invite all of you, young, old, curious, and skeptical, to attend the 10th anniversary of the NorCal Science Festival. Thank you for your time, attention, and your dedication to making Lodi a place where learning, curiosity, and innovation thrive. We hope to see you there.
That was awesome. I've seen the posters around town. Logan.
Hello, good evening. My name is Logan Beret. I'm a student at Lodi High School. I'm currently enrolled in Computer Science 1, a CTE course that we have at our school. And currently AP Computer Science Principles as well as Computer Science A are not going to be available to take next year due to some complications on the back end. And as a student, I've currently taken 3 AP classes. I'm currently enrolled in 5 and plan to take 5 more next year. I'm very academically inclined and I'm hoping to pursue engineering and computer science in the future. This class would be really important to me, and I just would like to voice that the class is currently not available, and I would really appreciate all efforts made in furthering that. Thank you for your time.
Lucas Nigley.
Good evening. My name is Lucas Nigley. I'm also a student at Lodi High School and a member of the NorCal Science Festival. I am currently enrolled in AP Computer Science A, and I'm also here to work for AP Computer Science Principles to be added back to our roster. I have followed all of my high school career the computer science pathway and intend to go further into it in college. And these AP Computer Science courses would really be helpful for me and any other students that wish to follow this new career path. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Evan Hammond, and I'm currently taking Computer Science 1 for Mr. Russell. And at Lodi High, currently, AP Computer Science is not a course we are able to take any longer. And I am here today to encourage that the course is continued, because for my continuing 3 years of high school, I would like to continue to take the computer science path, and I would need this class along with the other AP Computer Science class to continue that pathway and use this engineering knowledge to go into college and continue that course.
Keith Russell.
Superintendent Young, members of the board, thank you for your time this evening. Start off with some good news here. A couple months ago, I came to you asking for help to get some technology for our robotics classrooms, some CAD software, and I'm pleased to announce that our technology services department stepped up majorly. I was able to get us the software we needed promptly, which was as a direct result, we were able to place first place in the San Joaquin County Regional Fax Robotics Competition. Hopefully, if our funding request is approved in time, we'll be able to continue on to state in March. Today, unfortunately, I'm here with a much more embarrassing request. As you've heard already, both AP Computer Science Principles and AP Computer Science A have been removed from the course catalog for the 26-27 school year and presumably ongoing past that. This was quite a shock to me. I assume it's a shock to you, as this was not approved by Curriculum Council and, to my knowledge, was never brought before you as a board. The only explanation I've been given as to why these courses are being cut is a funding discrepancy. Essentially a memo from 14 years ago from the California Department of Ed regarding Perkins funding not being able to fund AP courses. Knowing that this is commonly offered in CT pathways across the state, I followed up with the California Department of Ed, and within 48 hours had a definitive response from the coordinator there, the one that actually audits our Perkins funding for this district, and who definitively said that memo is outdated and we are 100% eligible to offer AP courses using Perkins funding. I've included a list of schools and districts, did they get the packet? I've included a list of other districts who offer AP Computer Science under their career technical education courses, as well as the email from that representative clarifying that we can indeed offer AP courses under our CT pathways using Perkins funding. And even if we couldn't, there's no reason we couldn't offer those courses using LCAP or other funds that aren't related to Perkins. Is it really? Is that 3 minutes? Obviously this course is important. I have a bunch of other students here who may or may not want to come speak, but let's get this done, guys. Let's get it done for 26-27 so that our seniors can take the courses they need to succeed in high school and beyond. Thank you.
Tyler Johnson.
Good evening, members of the Lodi USD board. I just came here tonight in support of my lovely computer science teacher, Mr. Russell. I was really looking forward to taking AP Computer Science next year, and I was very disheartened when I saw that it had been taken off of the list. So I think computer science is a great program. I think it's the future, and I think that if it were to be reinstated, it would open up a lot of great pathways for not just me, but a lot of other students. So thank you.
Thank you. Josh Elson.
Good evening, I'm Josh Elson. I'm also here for the computer science AP courses. My son is enrolled in computer science currently, and he's a sophomore. he's looking forward to the next 2 years taking the various AP courses for computer science as well. We have some amazing kids here. They're smart kids. They're involved in NorCal Science Festival. They're enjoying the computer science classes, and I think, as Mr. Russell said, it'd be great. We really hope that you would, if you need to get involved in this, to somehow bring those courses back onto the curriculum. It'd be much appreciated by all the children that are taking these courses.
Craig Thompson.
Good evening. Don't do this often, so forgive me if I miss some formalities. I am Craig Thompson. My son is a student at Lodi High. I'm a grape grower here in Lodi. Today I attended Lodi Grape Day. Justin Tanner, our Ag Extension Specialist, presented on the use of drones in agriculture, which are automated, which depend on programming. I sat at a table with a group, Orchard Robotics, Vineyard Robotics, a system that visually characterizes the vines or the trees. All depends on computer science. And we have robotics that's continuing at Lodi. That's the interfacing of machinery with controllers that do things. And that's great. Years ago, and I don't know if name dropping is a no-no, but many years ago, when Brad Alderson was manager of the Woodbridge Winery, he commented, I can't even get a person that can program a PLC out of Lodi High or any place local. Well, we have partway there. But losing computer science would be a travesty. It would be awful because your robotics and that are the machine operation interface. The computer science is the logic and human interface side of that. They all work together, and we need students to be literate in that. And you might have heard rumors that, oh, we won't need programmers because we have AI. I am here to assert to you that now more than ever, we need literate and qualified computer science young people who can discern what they're seeing with AI, because AI is notoriously human-like, it's notoriously confident sounding, and it's notoriously wrong. And it takes training to be able to discern that, and computer science provides that training. One of the things I've noticed about these kids, they don't know how much they're learning. They don't know the difference. I see it. I went to the robotics thing, other things. By comparison, they have a depth of knowledge they don't know they got. They just had fun making some video games. So in any event, I don't know the details or the mechanics, but now more than ever is my point, find a way. We're going into an age of AI, and the next step after that is artificial intelligence agents that we authorize to do things on our behalf. We need people literate in this science. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dana Ebbs.
Good evening. My name is Dana Ebbs, and I'm a first grade teacher in Lodi Unified at Davis Elementary, and I'm also a mom of 2 Lodi High graduates and a current freshman at Lodi High. He's currently in Computer Science 1, and it's hands down his favorite class and his favorite teacher, Mr. Russell. My son's been planning to take AP Computer Science, and I know many others feel the same way. Currently, there's 3 full sections of Computer Science 1 with 75 students total. AP Computer Science is 1 full section of 26 students, and some other students had to be turned away. My input, as on your website it states that CTE courses should include parent and teacher input. So my input as a parent is that as a school, Lodi High should be adding AP coursework, and I feel, as Mr. Russell said, that the CTE course falls under that, so we should be adding, not eliminating it. At the Lodi High AP night, I was really encouraged to hear about the new AP classes being added. But I feel that an AP Computer Science CTE is equally important and relevant, and I was really disheartened to hear it's being taken away for next year. As I told the WAS committee 3 years ago, it's a major equity issue, in my opinion, to offer an AP course at one high school and not the other. Students with access to a car or a family member with a car during the day are taking AP courses at Tokay. I personally find it astonishing that a public school would allow a student without access to a car to be unable to achieve the same course load, GPA, or valedictorian status as their peers. Finally, the most obvious reason to keep AP Computer Science at Lodi High is to prepare graduates who can compete to gain admission to colleges and succeed academically once they're there. My daughter Annabelle graduated 9th in her class last year from Lodi High. She's at Berkeley, surrounded by students, mostly from the Bay Area and SoCal, who had access to AP Computer Science, which is required at Berkeley for majors like poli-sci, econ, psych, and engineering. To major in computer science or data science at Berkeley, if you haven't taken comp sci AP in high school, you're already behind. Students at from Lodi High should have the same opportunities as Valley kids, as other kids. Students from Lodi High should have the same opportunities as other students from Lodi and California Public Schools. Thank you.
Stephanie Hammond.
Hello and good evening. My name is Stephanie Hammond. I also have a freshman at Lodi High. Most of the speakers have already spoken on the points I was going to bring up, but I would just like to say that I would like my student to be able to be competitive when he does apply for college, and those AP classes really do help the GPA. And with STEM-related courses, the return on investment, as far as your time and also your tuition money, is so much higher than other fields, and we should be supporting that. And I am grateful for Lodi Unified for diversifying the education with all the different GATE schools and bilingual dual immersion. Like, it's fantastic, and I just wish that you would continue forward and retain these AP offerings and continue to challenge our students so they can reach their potential. Thank you.
Thank you. Dennis Witten. Dennis?
Yes.
I'm sorry, that's not correct.
That's okay. I'm kind of here on a different subject anyway, which will probably irate a lot of people. But I'd like to know why Lodi has schools in Stockton that doesn't take care of their schooling. Those teachers out there in Delta Sierra, I don't think they're equal to teaching anywhere. And there's nobody supporting out there. They have kids getting jumped every week out on the street, right in front of the school. We have no support. We get no police officers out there. And the three people in charge at Delta Sierra are all out of Oakland, and not one of them wants to come out and do anything about it. They hide. I went in today again. My wife and I stopped 4 fights already in 2 months. Big fights. 12 guys, 12 ladies and men, combos, climbed out of this little car and jumped these two boys and a girl, walking 100 feet from the driveway of going into the school. They stood there and watched. What the hell is it? You took Stockton on as a junk floral? You let them roll around out there? They don't get the great education they're supposed to have. I've had 6 boys in Stockton grow up. My youngest is 50. They all learned really good. Now there's nothing out there. They don't even get a chance, honestly, to see supervision that works you into something you can do. They don't go to these classes to learn. Half of them don't even stay in class. If you go outside the school, you can go on any corner on several schools, and you'll find a gang, and they'll be sitting there. I'm not going to say what they are, but most of them came out of Oakland, and they all came out in the last 7 years. And now, we've got kids that have no ability. They're not even smart enough to do their own stuff at home. Their parents are the ones doing all the homework and everything for them. And then when they go to these graduations, they gotta teach them to walk off the stage. I just don't know why Lodi, if you don't want the Stockton schools, kick them out. It doesn't make any difference to us. Maybe we can get somebody in the Stockton School District to get their head out, because I was already there, and see what's happening. They say it's Lodi's fault. I'm not gonna ask you gentlemen and ladies, because you're gonna say it's Stockton's fault. But there's gotta be something that can be done. Stockton PD says, yes, we can put people there and drive by and check. Well, they don't have to stop and do anything, but if their presence is there, you're not gonna have it. You can go on 3 corners from Delta, right off of Thornton Road and on Wagner Heights there, and you will find gangs sitting there. What are they for? Why aren't they either in school or out of there? But they won't go off the property to go find out.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have our comments from our employee group representatives. The representatives from each employee group will have 3 minutes to comment on non-agendized items.
I thought you were gonna give it to me. Good evening, President Alexander, members of the board, Superintendent Young. I just want to say that the transfer process is going on and seems to be running smoothly because I'm not hearing a lot of complaints. So that's great. The district has invited LEA to participate in a new hire event, which is on March 7th, and LEA will be there to answer questions and to participate in interviews. The one thing, though, that I have gotten complaints on over the years, and I think it needs to be addressed, is that several new teachers get hired into the district and they don't get their contract until they've been working a month or even 2 months. And I've been told it's because the credential coordinators need time to verify their credentials. Well, the other thing that happens is that they complain that several of their units are not being accepted by Lodi Unified, where they have been accepted by other districts. So the complaint is, hey, had I known this ahead of time, had I had my contract before I started, I could have accepted a job somewhere else where I could have been moved over on the pay scale. I think this is something that really needs to be addressed by the district. It's a disservice to the teachers we're bringing on board. It creates a lot of animosity towards the district, and it's not fair. You know, you should know what you're going to make when you agree to work for a job. You should not be shortened your salary because the district has decided that they are not going to accept units. And this is coming from, by the way, teachers who have worked in other districts where those units were accepted, and they came over to Lodi. This also goes to another issue that I have, is that when we squared the salary schedule, we made it harder for people to move over to that column B. And if you are going to retire prior to age 65 and you want health benefits, you have to be in that second column. So now, you're just making it harder to go over, one, not accepting units, and two, not accepting courses for credit to move over on the salary schedule. The district in the past few years has become very, very restrictive on what courses they will take. And that, again, is unfair. I would really like to see the district and LEA work together to come, and I've spoken about this before, with our head of personnel, so that we can come to some agreement as to what's going to be accepted and what's not going to be accepted. Because, again, we need to get people over there. And then finally, I get the calls from people who want to be subs, even though we don't cover them, and the district is still taking a long time to approve applications for teachers who want to be substitutes. We should have a great list of substitutes. I actually heard from someone today who worked for the district and then was rejected to become a substitute, which I thought was really interesting. But I hear from other people even that they want to know why it takes so long, where they go to Stockton, they go to Lincoln, and it takes a few weeks and it takes months here in Lodi. Thank you.
Any public comments on consent agenda A? Public may address the board on consent agenda A, routine business. Each public speaker shall limit comments to 3 minutes. Please state first and last name. Would board or staff like to pull any items from consent agenda A?
Motion approved. Consent agenda A.
We have a motion. Student vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Board vote? Motion passes 7-0 in favor. Public comments on consent agenda B.
I move we approve consent agenda B.
Second.
We have a motion. And students don't vote on this. Board vote, please. Public comments on reports. Public may address the board on reports. Each speaker shall have 3 minutes.
Mrs. Alexander, I just want to make sure that we state publicly that the vote was 7-0. I just want to make sure I put that on the record.
Sorry.
That's all.
I'm new at this. Consent agenda, I passed 7-0. Public comments, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Chelsea Chan and I teach instrumental music at McNair High School. Thank you. There's a lot of new at this going around tonight, it feels like. So I would just like to address the restructuring that has been proposed. Two things pop out at me when I look at the slides that I was looking at. And one is that without hearing the actual report, it feels like a lot of the pressure to restructure is built on visible learning and the learning goals that are stated within. My question is, why is that the main reason? If that is the main reason, why is that the main push? And if that is the main push, then would it be possible to see data from other school districts that have restructured to see if they also have, or to see if they have an increase in test scores or an increase in graduation rates? If we're going to restructure, and I believe the district just restructured not too long ago. I know it was in the time that I've been here, and this is my 12th year here, or 11th year here. So I know it wasn't that long ago. It's a lot of moving around at different parts, and there is already, the way that we are set up now, there is already a lot of confusion about who teachers contact for certain information, about policies, about procedures. There's a lot of questions at different levels in different departments about procedures. And if we restructure, that only seems to make it more complicated unless it's really laid out what procedures are and is very clear to everyone involved. I just question why restructuring this way, and also the fact that it looks like the teaching and learning falls under one area director. And so is that one area director going to be responsible for our teaching and learning from K through 12? Because there's a lot of different requirements from a kindergartner to a 9th grader to a senior in high school. Those are my concerns. Thank you.
I'm just gonna put this on the record, I don't like being able, or having to do comments before a presentation, because during a presentation, a lot of questions come forward. So I'm gonna do the good and the bad. I'm glad to see that, that there's gonna be cost savings. I'm glad to see a separation of of high school and TK through 8, sort of. In previous restructurings, it was TK through 6, and then 7 through 12. And I'm just gonna tell you as a middle school teacher, middle school does not belong in elementary. It's a different beast. I've taught high school as well. It's different from high school. It's a different beast. It does not belong there. I understand we have some TK through 8 schools, a few, but I still don't believe it belongs there. I'm still unclear from what I could read and discern from the presentation that I have not yet heard, that I'm unclear on how high school will fit into this, because the Area 2 focuses on college and career. Who is going to be in charge of making sure our high school people actually graduate? Where does this fall? Who is going to be responsible? And again, going back to the TK through 8, are we going to have one person in charge of this very, very diverse grade group, or are we going to break it down as it should be to early elementary, primary, upper elementary, and middle? Something that Mr. Porter brought up last time was our dashboard. How is this going to improve our dashboard? What are the metrics are we going to use to see if this works? Okay, and I do love the fact that my colleague here brought up why. You know, what is this going to do? How is this going to improve learning in Lodi Unified? Excuse me. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. We restructured into areas just, it seems, 4 or 5 years ago, not even. And we had 2 people heading the area as area directors who never had any elementary experience. And when I would go to them with elementary questions, they couldn't answer it. So, you know, how is this going to help? I don't get it. I think, again, it's just shuffling of the chairs so that you can point to somebody else who, for responsibility when things don't work well. That's what I'll say.
Good evening, President Alexander, members of the board, Superintendent Young, Rodrigo Contreras, Lodi CSEA President. We acknowledge the district's right to restructure educational services. We would like to point out that shuffling of management staff has an impact on the support staff at CSEA. We ask you that you keep us in mind as these changes are being ironed out. For example, you can see the movement of directors, and under each director is an administrative secretary, them to handle their needs. We would actually appreciate that the flow charts reflect how support staff may be impacted on the following reports. Doing so, we may better understand of exactly what is happening so we can all be better and prepared for the district's needs. Thank you for your consideration. Good night.
Next, we have a report. Dr. Horton.
Board President Alexander, members of the board, Superintendent Young, my pleasure to be here. This is presentation 2 of 3. This is a restructuring plan to take effect in 26-27. Next slide, please. So just a little bit, kind of going back to the previous board meeting, we shared a little bit about the data that we have in our district from the dashboard and from other metrics as well, but also talking about how the learning and improving our capacity for teaching and learning can have an impact on the dashboard and on the scores that we see. But going from that, you can see at the bottom of that slide is to think about how these things play with each other, how instruction and improving instruction also feeds into what accountability is, and also has a great impact on collaboration, meaning how sites work together, the staff at sites work together, has everything to do with the instruction that they have in their classroom, the learning that students have, which also leads to better accountability. So those three things cycle together. Next slide, please. So the question that I asked rhetorically last meeting was, are we built in Ed Services to do this? And if you take a look at the components of what that would be, it's thinking about what kind of instructional coherence do we have, meaning do we have a plan, do we have a footprint, do we have a direction in mind where we can all be rowing in the same direction? As you can imagine, if we have a lot of people heading toward different targets, it's hard to improve things. But if we have things that are moving together, it allows people in teacher teams to work together because they have something in common to talk about. If they don't have that, it makes it very difficult for people to talk together to make improvements together, which we know is one of the highest effect sizes that you can see in the research, is when people are working together with a common frame in mind and having the data to back themselves up. To address our instructional accountability is much like I was just describing, is that having the things that make the greatest impact allows us to address what we do instructionally in our classrooms. It also has everything to do with the way that schools can make improvements generally across the entire school. And finally, having collaboration district-wide, if we're all rowing in a similar direction, now there's the opportunity to have collaboration so that we're speaking a same language, if you will, that we're thinking about the same strategies, that we're looking for the same improvements and supports. So having things have more of a commonality yields tremendous benefit. Said another way, if everyone is very different and distinct from each other and not attempting the same strategies and learning, it's difficult for them to get together with colleagues to talk about how we improve our practice because they don't have enough in common to be able to support one another in the endeavor. Next click, please. So guiding principles then is thinking about this, right? This is about student-centered decision-making. This is about where we put students and student learning at the center of what we do. We think about being data-driven. We think about how we make sustainable processes that we can live with, that we can fund, that we can support year over year. It can't be something that is so wild and so expensive that you can't sustain it year over year. It has to be supportable, sustainable. It has to be something that can carry you for years down the road. It can't be a one and done, it burns up and then it's gone. Next click, please. So our current challenges with the way that we sit right now, and you heard some of the comments from the folks that spoke a minute or two ago. But one of those really is this idea, right, is we can either look at this as a management issue or we can look at it as an instructional leadership issue. If we really want to focus on instructional leadership, there are some things that we have to do to put ourselves in a better position to support schools, to support principals, and support the teachers at those schools. So one of those pieces that I would suggest is that if we're going to look at and put teaching and learning as one of the most important things that we talk about, it would seem to me that we would want to have a high focus on teaching and learning. We would want to clean up the systems and processes to say if teaching and learning is what we care about the most, then we've got to be able to show that we're providing that support to both the teachers in the classroom and also the principals at the schools. Next clip, please. So in our current format right now, you can see that as we're currently built in educational services, we have 4 areas. We have 2 that are geographical. We have North Stockton, we have Lodi. We also have a special education area, and we have college career that was formed in the previous school year. Next slide, please. So the proposal to redefine this would be to redefine the areas 1 and 2 and put them into a new defined area 1 of teaching and learning. Having college and career and special education remain. Next click, please. And so with that, having an area director that can supervise and be in charge of the complete component of teaching and learning, college, career, and special education. And next click, please. And so underneath that would be a different array of directors across those different areas. And next click, please. And with that, some other administrative positions that are also mostly present as we speak right now, coordinators, and that we also move extended learning program underneath college and career because that is a direct impact on student outcomes. And next click, please. And one more click. Okay, so the purpose of doing this is, as you can see at the bottom, it's going back to the previous comments that I made. One of those is about improving cohesion across educational services, that we put the focus in the big buckets that matter the most. If teaching and learning matters the most, then we need to look after teaching and learning. If college and career and the outcomes for students matters, then we should have someone that's looking after that, and we do. And also our special education and student support services, and what it takes for our students to be successful, to attend school, to receive the services that they need every day. So those are incredibly important areas, and I would argue the most important areas that a school district and educational services can serve. Next click, please. So as a recap, what we're looking for then would be a proposal to have teaching and learning as a new area, college and career to be reconfigured with extended learning to fall underneath them, special education and student services maintains its current area structure. So teaching and learning will supervise the elementary and middle schools, and with the different expertise areas of the directors that are in teaching and learning, there will be more than enough support for all elementary schools and middle schools, and to also have a cohesive structure so that as students move from primary grades to upper grades in elementary, there's a smooth and cohesive way to talk about that so that we're vertically articulated, and that same articulation moves from our 6th grade sites to 7th and 8th. So that when we think about how things like the curriculum, the instruction, and the assessment all play together, that we think of our K-8 schools as one big unit, and that they should all be moving so that they're articulated. The idea being we've got to be able to send our students off from 8th grade to be successful and ready to enter 9th grade. Because once you're at 9th grade, the preparation time is over. It's time to now be thinking about success in high school, graduating, earning diplomas, and being college career ready when you leave. So you're down to a 4-year sprint by the time they hit. But all that preparation has to be done and done right in K-8 to have them ready to do the deeper work of high school. Next click, please. The college and career team, because those outcomes of students exiting high school is so important, they will have the supervisory responsibility over the high schools and alternative learning so that they can make sure that all those services are cohesive from school to school and as they matriculate from the middle school to the high school. And then finally, special education and student services will remain basically as constituted right now. Next click, please. So the cost of the restructuring, there is a net overall savings as we make these changes as proposed right now. There's a bit of moving around to make all those pieces come together, to have teaching and learning be a viable and robust area, to have the college and career team also be viable and robust. But as everybody lands in their place and the duties are assigned out across those administrators, I believe that it puts us in a much more efficient and lean situation to be able to do the support and service that schools are going to need across elementaries, middles, and high schools. Next clip, please. So in summary then, Area 1, teaching and learning, the pieces that are being aligned underneath that would be assessment, research, and evaluation would now fall under teaching and learning, because having that curriculum, instruction, and assessment component all in one place makes sense. It makes sense to not have them be under a different umbrella. They should be under the department that works most closely with the curriculum and the instruction, so that there's a way to monitor, gather data, and make evaluation proposals. English learning services will also fall underneath that because we have, for instance, a very large adoption that will be coming soon for English language arts, and the English language learners are a key part of that curriculum and instruction. So being able to have that be a cohesive piece makes good sense, and also to have instructional media where we actually do the ordering and the distribution of textbooks and materials and Chromebooks. Makes sense to have them all be there because those are the tools that are needed for the instruction in every classroom. The professional learning department will be reorganized under new Area 1 so that that's also a support mechanism to support our teachers with how they use the curriculum that they have, how to improve teaching practice, and how to support them with troubleshooting in their practice. In Area 2, college career, the proposal is to look at two major areas of function that are under college and career. One is college and dual enrollment. So one person's main task will be to look after how students are able to take more classes, have more access, and be prepared to not only accomplish the college classes they wish in high school, but to matriculate to the college of their choice when they leave. Also of great importance is how we look at career technical education, UC A through G preparation, and advanced placement. So that's all looking at what we do in our schools, and we're looking at how students are successful while they're in our high schools. So those two have to work seamlessly together because one is looking at very forward focus of what happens when you leave our high schools, that you're ready for that, and the other is to be successful in our high schools while we have you. But both are incredibly important, just on two different, slightly different sides of the house. Next click, please. So role and responsibility, as you can imagine, it would be a more hierarchical structure of saying that the associate superintendent, that would be me, would be the overall instructional leadership and looking after and supporting all three of those areas to have them be able to all be pulling in the same direction, to be thinking about the funding supports that we have and the oversight that is required. The area directors will have direct oversight and supervisory responsibility not only for their area, but also, as we mentioned, teaching and learning, looking after our K-8 schools, and college and career team looking after the high schools. Directors provide that program oversight, supervision, and also support and supervision for the principals in their area of expertise, and coordinators that support the work that goes on inside each area. And next click. So our implementation timeline, this is a rather large cruise ship, so it's hard to turn this on a dime. But what we do believe we can do is begin this process immediately in spring of 2026 to begin to start putting these pieces in action. So there will be some of the pieces that will be ready in summer 2026 and for the first phase of a rollout in fall of 2026. But there are some other pieces that will take more time for that to unwind. So with a little bit of patience, we believe that as the 26-27 school year moves its way through, we'll be ready for full implementation in the summer of 2027, so that all the pieces will be in full action at that point. But we believe that we'll be able to do that over the course of the next 16, 17 months. And next clip. So expected outcomes, the improved alignment of the instructional systems and accountability is of high importance to what we do, and being able to provide efficient support that's timely to schools, principals, and teachers. That's what's most important. It has to be that we can get quick and responsive support to schools and the work that goes on in classrooms every day. Increased student learning and achievement through Tier 1 instructional implementation, parentheses, visible learning. So I'll just make one quick aside. This is outside of the presentation, so if you'll indulge me. On Monday, we were able to take a site visit over to Ceres Unified. And in one of their schools there, Hydal Elementary School, they've been on their visible learning journey for about 3.5 years now. We were able to walk the classrooms with many other representatives from local districts and county offices of education. And what was very fascinating to me was looking at their dashboard scores, and I would invite you to take a look at those from 2024, 25, and 26, so 3 years running. What was very interesting is that over the first 2 years of their implementation, their progress was rather flat in math, ELA, and English learners. But in this most recent dashboard in 2025 that just released, the most recent data, In 2025's data, they had double-digit percentage increases in all three areas. So when they look at English language arts performance, math performance, and English learner performance, they are, I guess we would say that is enviable to look at double-digit percentage increases in those three areas is not on accident. You don't get double-digit performance by just waking up and falling off a log. It takes very dedicated support over time, and one of the main components that they had in their place was visible learning going on in each classroom. So it was a powerful thing to see, and a rather powerful testimonial to see an actual elementary school that's here in the valley, just down the freeway in Ceres, that's doing the work, and they're really doing a wonderful job. And by the way, their students look a whole lot like our students. Whether it's students that are speaking English and learning it, students of special education, students of color, you name it, students of poverty, socioeconomically disadvantaged, they have all the same situations that we have in our schools, and nothing about them was extraordinary. But they've been dedicated and they stayed to the path. And finally, clear communication and accountability pathways to increase that student achievement, much like we saw at our site visit this past Monday. Next clip, please. So what's next? Coming in the next board meeting will be an opportunity for the board to take action, and I would hope support of this change, that we can look at what it is and put our focus on teaching and learning outcomes for students in college career, and also in our special education student support services. That we say that those are the things that matter greatly to us. Next clip, please. And that's it. So at this time, I'll take any questions from the board.
Ms. Slenderman?
Dr. Horton, when will we, as a board, receive the statistical analysis and detailed implementation plan that shows the accountability that you have considered all of these items for the plan? And can you map the data trends from your last presentation that guides you to the current decision to restructure? Not just cost savings. I mean, cost savings is one item, right? But is it going to be effective in the processes? And do we have a plan to make sure that we have the right change management and implementation strategy?
I do. I have the change management and implementation plan for this and for the teaching and learning in particular. In looking at the accountability measures, at least at this time, I mean, we would be speculating into the future about what those target outcomes will be. We can definitely put a goal to that, but I do look at, like I said about the site visit in Ceres Unified, I would look at it and say that might be the guidepost that we could look at and say, well, 3 years from this time, we should be in a place like that where we see those grade levels in classrooms and schools doing that work.
In my personal opinion, 3 years is a long time to wait for monitoring the metrics. Is there anything that could be short-term goals that would help indicate success in the program that would help us better react more effectively?
There can be. I would say at this point it would probably be more in terms of number of teachers trained and utilizing the processes in their classroom would probably be the metric that would be most ready at hand. Looking at how the progress is made, outside of that and the anecdotal piece that would be there, it would probably be more along the lines of the formative data that teachers would be able to generate to be able to share out. Because if only a few people are using it and using it with some depth and regularity, you won't see that impact across a grade level or a school until you have more people using it, because the law of large numbers will still apply and it will kind of bring that average down.
So then in your rollout plan, you will still have to establish a metric and monitoring requirement so that you can actually obtain that information.
Correct.
So at this present moment, you do not have that.
I don't have that metric at this time, no. It's something that will have to be built. And so the assessment, research, and evaluation team is already working with me to do that, where we can get more of a formative measure that we can grab a hold of and actually track in a quantitative way.
there's no assessment of how effective this transition will be in terms of results.
It would be too early to have any results yet. And since it's not in place yet, no, I don't have any results yet.
You should have a plan on how effective your implementation is, but
I have the implementation plan, yes, but I don't have any results yet.
yes, you will get results as you implement, but you should have success metrics and markers as you go through your plan.
Correct, yes, and we have the targets of what we want to hit, we just have not hit any of those yet.
Any other questions from the board? Mr. Nava?
Yes, do you have the personnel right now to take care of this plan?
Generally speaking, yes, we do. I think with one exception, we have one position that would be new, so we would have to fly that position, but otherwise, generally, yes.
That's interesting because that's what it takes. It takes a personnel that is qualified to handle all these little intricacies that you have in this plan. Very good. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Dr. Ball?
Yes, thank you, President Alexander. Dr. Horton, thank you for this report, and I know a lot goes in to put this together. The current status that we have in our district, how long have we run with it?
I said, I didn't hear the first part of
Current
your question.
status of our area directors and all the setup that we have, how long have we had that?
I might have to ask Neil that. That was in place when I arrived a year and a half ago. I don't quite remember the history. I've heard it told to me, but I don't recall it.
We're going beyond 3 years at this point.
Okay,
We're
and
just
it
on the other side
hasn't
of it.
really worked how we wanted it to, or intended to. Is that why we're wanting to change?
I think putting an increased focus on, as I mentioned, on teaching and learning and college and career as it's currently built, it's fragmented to get the collaborative effort to support our schools in teaching and learning and college and career. So we are in more of a splintered structure as it stands right now. And to bring that more cohesive, it seems to me to be a better way to solve the riddle of having a focus on teaching and learning and college career and special education.
Thank you. I have two more points, is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. The directors that you have under teaching and learning that you've shown us today, you have 4 directors under one area director. Just a suggestion. Would you rather not have 3 directors that had one for elementary, one for middle, one for high, rather than 4? Or is...
Perhaps, but I would also say that in terms of the collaborative nature, what I would maybe resist in that idea is if people were under one of those areas, it would still yield a splintered effect because they wouldn't be as prone to collaborate across with their colleagues. Being where all 4 of them have a mixed, they all have different pieces of a puzzle but have to work together, it kind of drives a collaboration that otherwise now does not exist.
Okay. Last question from me. You went to Ceres to see that school.
Yes.
Do people come to our district to see us?
They will one day.
I wish for that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Porter?
Oh, thank you. First of all, thank you for your work, Dr. Horton, I appreciate it. And I didn't get a chance, I sent you some questions today, I haven't had a chance to read them, but I appreciate your effort. And I know that part 3 is coming. I saw part 1, and I see part 2 today, and then part 3, and I have 4 pages of questions for when we finish all this up. And I did a lot of work on Hattie and visible learning and looking at all that, and I shared that with you. So I have my reservations, although parts of Hattie and visible learning are excellent, and I shared that with Mr. Young today as well. My concern, and I think I expressed this in one of my questions, is that we recognized we had a problem in that we flatlined on our test scores.
And then we took the same people that were implemented 3 years ago and we rearranged them. And you use the word silos, break down department and district silos. I believe that's slide number, where am I, 13? 12? 12. So why is it using people that have developed the same habits and same methodologies, by rearranging them, are you expecting different outcomes? Unless you're going to change their method of how they do things. Because right now, according to what you said, we have a problem. We flatlined, and I've been the one that's been shouting from the rooftops, as this board has. We need to improve our test scores. As you say here in the slide, break down department and district silos. That happened 3 years ago, and we were supposed to break out of those silos with that plan. You weren't here. Why is it using the same people going to give you different results?
So I think the bigger issue, as I've studied it, is not as much the people per se, but what I would say is that the organization, the way it was built, doesn't drive a collaborative effort on how we support schools, teachers, principals.
Okay.
So in doing that, my response and thinking in the proposal is to say, if we have a more cohesive focus and target, i.e. what teaching and learning is, and define that with razor sharp precision, being able to provide the support now makes collaborative sense to support principals and in turn the schools, because we're all focused and driving toward the same common target. The problem with the silo approach that you reference is
Well, that's what you referenced, not me.
well, no, that you brought up, yeah, is that silo doesn't drive a way to break out of it until you have a better superordinate goal, something of a greater target than any one individual or any one location. So it has to be something that is bigger than us all to go toward. So that would be my response.
Okay, thank you for that. I have just 2 more questions. Okay. Kind of picking up from Mrs. Letterman, where are your guardrails and metrics? You talk about accountability. Awesome. But who is making these people accountable to themselves? Or who is watching over them? We've had issues recently where there was no accountability of certain people in management. And you know, I keep seeing this with the teachers. And then when I look above that, I said, well, where's the accountability for sites? And I see that, oh, we're going to go to principals. And then I hear from elementary principals that they can never get to the things they do because they're always getting pulled out of over here to the district and so forth. And then I hear from the high schools that they're overwhelmed in getting things done. And I know that you don't want to be managers anymore, you want to be instructional leadership. But my question is, okay, that's fine. But what about in this building itself? Because what I don't see is accountability in this building. And I'm not talking about our CSEA people. And I'm not talking about anything that works outside of that realm. The realm I'm talking about is management, administrative management, or the term that I used initially, which our previous superintendent hated, the educrats, the people that are involved in bureaucracy or education. So who is managing them? And who is making sure they do their job? And are they getting real-time assessment, which we want our teachers to do?
Yeah, I would say that oversight would rest with me if I'm looking at educational services.
Yeah, and I'm looking at what you have to do, and I would be amazed, Superman to me, that you could cover all that oversight and accountability. And I agree with Ms. Letterman, there has to be some real-time assessment as we go along, either weekly, monthly, or by the quarter, on how we're doing in that arena. And I wait for the next part to come up on that reason. Now my third point is, I love the fact that we have recognized that we need to try and restructure and see if we can affect change. But in this that I see before me, is my last question is, how do each of these positions, indirectly or directly, affect student achievement?
Well, if it's going to be that there's a support mechanism to provide principals the ability to understand how to give feedback, how to observe teaching and learning going on in their schools, their classrooms, that would be the support that is most needed. Like, for instance, I'll just say, when we saw in Series Unified is a good example.
Right.
That's the mechanism that they have. It's
I'm
exactly.
sorry to interrupt you.
No, I'm sorry.
Did you not work in series before?
No.
You didn't work in series? Okay.
No. But their approach was very much that. It was the support given to the principal so that she was able to be out and be part of the team meetings, the classrooms, and the walks.
Okay.
So it's
and that's part of the third part you're going to show us.
Correct. Is what can that support look like, and then part of that I can bring back with that will also be the earlier questions about the metrics, the data points, the implementation science pieces.
Yeah. So getting back to my question.
Yes.
How do these people directly or indirectly affect student outcomes? Because none of these people come in contact with students.
That's true. By design, their position isn't directly in contact with students,
Right.
but it is with the principals, and the principals are there
And so
with
we'll
the
see
kids.
that in your next. I look forward to that. Thank you very
Correct.
much.
You're welcome.
Ms. Farland?
Thank you. First, I'd like to thank you for all the time and energy you put into this. I know this is one small piece of what you've been doing for months and months. I also know that this board has tasked both Superintendent Young and you. We want more, we expect more, and we demand more. And I know the pinch is being felt all over. I think this is a great start. While I look at the flow charts and all that's great, at the end of the day, we want to see it in our students and in our classrooms. So while we can restructure 5 or 6 more times, I want to know when I vote yes, let's move forward, let's continue to move forward, that this restructuring and the way we're going about it is going to indicate a result. We tried something, and thank you for being nimble, and we redirected. But I think if we're going to make these changes, we want to see effective change quickly and with guardrails, as Ms. Lenderman said kind of differently. But we want day-to-day information, maybe not weekly, but we want to know that we are trending in the correct direction, because at the end of the day, we don't want to be 3 more years, 4 more years down the road and our scores. And scores are a terrible way to judge a student and our outcomes, but it is one of the measures that we are judged by. And I think we have an amazing district with amazing employees, amazing teachers, amazing CSA. I love everyone at district. I think we have some pretty magical things going on here, and we need it to be reflected in our students. And so I wish you well. We're going to be watching very closely, and I'm looking forward to the third component.
Do our students have any comments or questions for Dr. Horton, our student reps? Mr. Stroh, I'm sorry.
Just real quick, I'd also like to thank you, but my questions and concerns have been answered or asked already by Ms. Farley, Dr. Ball, and Mr. Porter here, so thank you for your effort, and I look forward to seeing feedback.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Horton. Great presentation. Appreciate it. Are there any board advisory committee reports?
You want to go? Oh, no. I was just going to say, we met at Joe Serna. It was probably our record quick meeting. We just cleaned up some business, nothing too crazy. Really nothing to report. It was more of a check-in after the mid-year, and we look forward to our next one. I believe it's in April.
The policy committee? Do you want to just? The policy committee met, and we'll meet again at the end of the month, going over, continuing to review policies and eat treats. Yeah. Comments from the board?
You want to go? Okay.
Sure, Mr. Porter, we'll
Okay,
start with your end.
Give me a little bit of flexibility.
No.
As a teacher of 30 years, I've been through cooperative learning, where we had students peer edit each other and grade each other. That went out the window. We had Ruby Payne. That went out the window. Then we had Circle of Inquiry, which is kind of cool. I kind of liked it. I still would use it as a teacher. And now we're moving into visible learning. And Hattie, of course, it was interesting to look at his background. He's from Australia. He's a professor and all that. He's quite charismatic. Visible learning to me is a tool, just a tool. It's not the overall cure-all to what we're going to be doing. And as I spoke with Mr. Young today, it's collaboration with our teachers. Now, in saying that, I had the opportunity when I went over to Tokay to see the dedication of the beautiful fields that I'll let other people talk about, and the pool, which was my home for so long. How wonderful they've done a job there. And Edith's not here, but it was truly, I'd have to say Tokay's campus is one of the best high school campuses in the valley. Now, with all the facilities and so forth in the classrooms. But I did have a quest. And my quest was our CAS scores. How we did on the California Science Test in 11th grade. And at Lodi High School, 24% of the students met or exceeded the state requirements for knowledge of science. Tokay was at 26.3, Bear Creek was 26.78, and McNair was 14.9. So if you look at those over, if you want to do an average, you would say 70 to 72% of our students are not meeting the standards. When you go to our policy, Lodi Unified's policy, it says Lodi Unified School District Science Instruction Policy states that the district's science policy shall meet or exceed the California Next Generation Science Standards. All 4 of our schools are failing. So our board policy doesn't match what's happening. When I sat and talked to some of the science teachers, and I was on this committee, when we set up the NGSS program, it was set up by Charlene Cunningham, who is now principal. And she did a very nice job. It's hard to work with teachers. I've worked with teachers, and working with teachers is difficult. I'm a teacher. I was difficult to work with from other teachers. I was a pain. And it's just difficult. We're on our phones. You know, we're not listening. And it's difficult. But she did a very nice job. Anyway, a group of science teachers in this district, and I don't know if Sherry, were you there for that? Yeah. So Miss Alexander was there, I was there, and we came up with, for high school, and then we have different levels down the road for science scores and so forth, but the high school one, an NGSS course of study. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And it was a 3-year course of study, 3 years. The CAS test, which is the science test, is given in the 11th grade. Our graduation requirements are only 2 years. And if you're at McNair, you would knock that out in 1 year, your freshman year. So in 11th grade, you're taking this test, okay? And you might have had a whole year where you haven't taken any science at all, nor are you meeting the goals of what the teachers had put together under the supervision of Ms. Cunningham for our district to have. It was presented to the board loved it, we came up with this beautiful policy. But the board, so here you have your teachers, ground level, demanding more rigor to meet the science standards, and we're still at 2-year requirements. So tonight I would like to invite our board to take, I think we need to take a hard look at our graduation requirements. Other schools in our area, districts, have more rigor in their graduation requirements. Now, that doesn't mean I want everybody to go to college and all that, I think, but I would like to have educated kids that can come out of high school and go into trades, whatever, and be able to put together a paragraph, to understand what a computer does, to know what science is, to know what climate is, to know the basics of life science and photosynthesis. And in a 2-year program that we didn't agree with, we wanted to go 3, and it's set up for 3, our kids are never going to score higher. So here's your disconnect. And tonight we saw the restructuring. Great. I'll wait for part 3 and I'll pull out my 4 pages of questions. The disconnect is at the ground level, we're demanding this. The support is not there. And then I asked the final question, have you seen the results granularly of the test? Where are you weak? Is it life science? Is it earth science? What areas of those are we doing poorly in? We have never seen the results of that science test. Now that's not their job. Their job is to teach those 150 kids that are coming through every day at the high school level. But it would make their job easier if they got the results from this building broken down for them so they could look them over in their breakout sessions that they have on minimum days to improve their teaching instruction. So again, I get back to where are the guardrails to what I see on this slide 12 that's going to help our teachers, and I wait for part 3 in this, to be successful. Here is a living example. We have McNair at 14%. The highest is 26.7. That is not a great school district.
Thank you. Dr. Ball, comments?
Yes, sure, thank you.
Thanks everybody for being here, and thanks President Alexander. I wanted to extend my thank you to the parents who spoke today. It takes a lot to come up on that podium and speak, especially if you've never spoken before on these podiums. So I'm glad they took advantage of the program that we have, and I hope more people know about it and more people get to utilize those services. I had the honor of attending academic competition. It was at Lathrop High, and our kids went there. I was really happy to see McNair kids there doing good. They got some medals, and our middle college kids took the trophy home. Since 2019, they've done it every single year. We forget to mention what middle college does for our school district. We forget that it exists at a high school. It'd be nice to see what they did in their 11th grade, just to boost our numbers, I guess. But the kids did great. I have to extend my thank you to Ms. Ramirez and Ms. Giannoni. They are just phenomenal academic teachers up at Middle College. Last but probably an extended comment on trauma. I hope we all remember what trauma is, especially trauma to a child, and what it does to their brains and their bodies. So as we go through our days, we as adults need to remember a child who has seen trauma and a child who has been through trauma will forever remember it, even if they didn't go through it and they just saw it. It's a sensitive and emotional topic for me personally, but I feel we need to protect every single child in our district, every single child we come in contact with. We are serving our community. Before that, we are serving the children of our community. I appreciate everybody who takes time to do this every single day. And teachers, the admin, people at the school district here, thank you for everything you do for our children to keep them safe, healthy, and trauma-free. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Stroh.
Okay, just a couple of quick things. And I also would put in over 30 years at Tokay High too. And Sherry was there also, and it is a beautiful couple of ball fields, and you can look at it, softball field and baseball. Got to watch the first pitches, and I just found out that my dental hygienist son was the first one to throw the pitch, so nobody told me that until just a while ago. So that was kind of fun, and it's really beautiful, and it's really good, and I think we really should make an effort to keep it up, because it's a lot better to keep it up and cheaper than letting it fall down. So I'm really happy with what happened there, and the coaches are happy there. Also, I got there a little bit early and visited some of my old teaching colleagues / friends, and I was really impressed, and Courtney will back me on this, on the farm at Tokay. My old classroom is actually, well, it was torn down, but under where the partial barn is. Somebody called it the biggest shade structure. Pigs, goats, chickens, and none of them smell. They keep it clean, so it's not the animals that smell, but not keeping it clean. Vineyards, orchards, farm equipment, a lot of parent and community involvement with the Tokay FFA, and I was very impressed with that. Ms. Freeman is doing an awesome job. So that, and then also I'd like to thank the parents speaking. I know how hard it is, because I don't even like speaking here. It's uncomfortable for me. And really, I was really happy to see the students engaged, speaking about and trying to back up their classes. I knew a couple of parents, so that was kind of fun to watch that. And also, I just kind of like to thank our district. I went to school here, and it's changed a lot, and it was very white when I went here. And my friends were kind of teasing me about it because they're in the Bay Area and think that, a bunch of rubes here. But so I was just thinking in the last couple of years, I just wrote down a list in admin teachers and CSEA different workers, and this is mostly first and second generation people here. I've known Nigerian, Hmong, Vietnamese, Cambodian, Pakistani, Laotian or Lao, Filipino, Sikh, Hindu, both from India and other places. Chinese, Korean, Mian, Thai, German, Italian, British, men and women, African Americans, Canadians, and I say Mexicans, not Latin, because my students used to get mad at me if I said Latin. I knew a couple of teachers from El Salvador and Peruvian. And so I think we have
Nations.
what?
That's United Nations.
I know, so I'm kind of proud of our district being very diverse.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out.
Awesome.
And that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Strom. Mr. Nava?
Yeah, I just have a question for Mr. Young. The AP computer science classes at Lodi, why are they eliminated?
I know Dr. Horton is working on that with the CTE pathway and the up the AP pathway. He's going to be providing more information specifically on the situation at Lodi High and what's going on.
Well, that wasn't my answer. That wasn't an answer.
I don't have an answer. I need to get a thorough answer to your question.
I think the gentleman said it was funding, but funding, should be able to fund all those.
It's a complex issue that Dr. Horton, before the meeting began, had a conversation, and we'll follow up with the board so you are aware of what's going on.
Okay. I'm concerned about those kind of things because that's why we're here, offer all these kinds of classes so these kids can learn and carry over to even if they go to college, they just carry over to the regular things that they do. And it's important, so that's it.
Thank you. Ms. Slenderman?
Congratulations to Middle College, that's a huge achievement. And to thank you, Julie Morgan, for hosting me and allowing me to read to the 6th graders. We had lots of fun. I read to them an engineering book about the Mars rover and a second book on what is a problem. I would be glad to read it to the board and to everyone here because it's actually a Lean Six Sigma book on how to solve problems using data in a kid-friendly way. So super cool.
They loved it, huh?
I loved it.
It's important.
Yeah,
It might be a snoozer for 6th graders.
Establishing the problem-solving process.
Yeah.
Ms. McFarland?
No comments.
No comments.
Other than Doke's fields look amazing. And the pool. Mr. Porter, I know you were.
It's about time, Ms. McFarland, that we had this.
It's about
It's
time.
struggling for
Okay.
10, 15 years to get
So-
all. I mean, I go to other districts, let me tell you.
Mr. Nava.
Go to other districts.
Hey, I need.
Hey, I want to go home,
my
Mr.
comment.
Nava. I want to go home.
Excuse me.
Sir.
I just wanted to do a huge shout out. Brittany, it was an amazing event. And I know you coordinated that and did that just beautifully. I wish I could thank Edith for that. As a Tokay softball mom whose daughter had to drive to Stockton, the cars were hit, to keep our kids safe and have those fields there it just makes me go. And now that I have grandbabies that will potentially use those fields, it feels like it's come full circle, and it was a very proud moment. The grounds at Tokay, I want to shout out to CSEA because it was not just, oh, let's quick fix this. They looked like they were kept up well. It's not something you could have done in a short amount of time. So thank you, and shout out to all the people that made that happen. I was also just taken back by the ag facility. So I'm looking forward to sitting and watching some ball games. I found out one of my former students was the one that threw the ball. So I was so glad when they didn't make me do that, because that was initially a threat. And I'm grateful. So I'm proud of what we do here and what we continue to do. So without further ado, 8:54, I'd like to adjourn this